Hello, and welcome to a new Warhammer 3 campaign series. Today I am going to be playing Immortal Empires as the Slaanesh faction, led by Nakari. And I had this idea to try and combine two of the challenge campaigns I'd enjoyed doing in Warhammer 2, namely a one settlement challenge and a Lord and Hero only challenge. I'll explain the details a little more in the campaign. Let's see here. We've got the legendary very hard difficulty. I'm not going to use endgame scenarios in this campaign at all. Basically, making the game harder by imposing big restrictions on myself instead of activating the endgames. And I'm also curious to see, now that patch 2.2 has come out, what difference it kind of makes to the regular AI factions in terms of, do the regular AI factions get bigger, expand more aggressively, or are they still kind of somewhat passive and it takes dozens of turns for much to happen on the world kind of thing? Which obviously the endgame crises have a habit of messing up, because as soon as they spawn it just kind of crushes normal AI factions in the area. Alright, so the rules for this campaign are reasonably simple, and I'll copy them out in every description box of these videos. So, number one, I'm only allowed to hold this settlement, the starting settlement, Shrine of Kurnos. I'm not allowed under any circumstances to hold or occupy any other settlement, even just temporarily. So no occupying settlements, no loot and occupy obviously, no confederating settlements, blah blah blah. And if I lose this, as in if someone comes in and unoccupies it or raises it, I am allowed to rebuild it or reoccupy it, but only this one fairly unimpressive minor settlement for the whole campaign. Rule number two, no regular units. So all of this stuff is out of here. So in particular, I am not allowed to use recruit units from here, which we can't do right now anyway, but we're not allowed to recruit from local or global recruitment. Also not allowed to recruit regiment of renown. I am allowed to do and use other stuff. So, lords allowed. Heroes are allowed. I can recruit more heroes. Obviously we're not going to have much capacity except for the cultists, which I'll get onto in a minute. And I'm also allowing disciple armies, although, as you may be aware, you require 10 units in your army, so a lord plus 9 heroes it would have to be, before you can summon a disciple army. So, not something we're going to be using at the beginning. So the idea is basically to try and lean very heavily on the Slaanesh campaign mechanics, vassalizing factions around us, and kind of holding territory that way rather than holding territory directly. Using our cultists to establish more cults, which can then produce more cultists, and so on. And also using Nakari, who's an extremely powerful lord at actually fighting, plus the additional lords we recruit to handle the fighting we do have to do on the battle map. So I think there's maybe some other factions you could try this double challenge with. Maybe Ikit Claw, using, obviously you've got Skaven Blight as your one settlement, and you can do a lot kind of with establishing the Under Empire, but I felt like playing Slaanesh because I haven't done a demon campaign yet, or recorded one at least, and yeah, I think the Under Empire kind of style gets pretty boring. So obviously we have some problems ahead of us. We're not going to be very strong on the battlefield in the short term. We are fortunately only at war with Trace, who do not start with very much, and we can kill this army right away, even with just our 2 guys here. So yeah, let's just get on with that.
Speak.
Yeah, I'll have the cultists fight this battle. I want them to get leveled up.
Safe up there.
An alternative would be to have them come and establish a cult this turn instead. You can only do one hero action, and joining the army counts. So it is a choice of one or the other, but let's have them join Nakari and fight. And what do we have here in terms of traits? Strategist for extra campaign movement range. Okay. Not the most exciting, but we're going to be rolling tons of cultist traits. So that's all good.
I need their souls.
And yeah, the only other thing we could do before this fight is activate the Unholy Manifestation, do a little bit of damage to us for a boost in those stats you can see. I don't think that's worth it. Health is actually a bit of an issue. We're going to take damage on Nakari. He gets regeneration later, but not right away. So yeah, I actually would rather not take extra damage, I think. Right, so let's make this attack.
Drink their soul.
Okay, so up against 6 units, but we get to seduce one of them. We can seduce any of them. The budget's obviously higher than the cost here. And it's kind of a choice between the archers and the Illyrian Reavers. There's not much point in seducing a spearman unit, I think. The trouble with the archer unit is... Let's have a look at the map. Yeah, there's a lot of trees here. I think the trouble with the archer unit is we're not necessarily going to be able to protect them long enough for them to use all their ammo, particularly because that would mean leaving them with the cavalry. So I'm going to go ahead and seduce the cavalry. It's actually giving us a close victory and saying we could win with just the cav wiped out, but we want a decisive victory if possible, and I also want to minimize damage on my characters. So lots of factions would have the trouble in a campaign where you disband your regular units, you just try and use Lord and Heroes. Even if a faction starts with a hero, winning this initial battle is tricky, but in our case, obviously we've got the Seduce, which is a net kind of change of 2 units, right? Because it stops them having 1 and gives us 1. But also Nakari is a pretty powerful character from rank 1. The combination of being fast, hard-hitting in melee, and having magic is very strong. It also helps that we're up against a... I forget what is it, Princess is the name of the High Archer Lady Lords? Yeah, definitely helps we're up against that rather than someone who's better at melee fighting. So where are they going to deploy? Not too sure. I mean, we have the speed advantage here. They're all on foot. Let's just see where they start and adjust. Alright, well, we don't see them at all, so I guess they're in the woods somewhere.
Misery is my desire.
The cultists are surprisingly good fighters too. Because of their utility on the campaign map, I guess I wasn't thinking they'd be that good at fighting. They don't have much armor, but bonus versus infantry and the fact that they have the physical resistance is definitely really strong against low tier enemy units, especially stuff like spearmen that doesn't have great attack, or like archers if you can get in melee with them. So yeah, cultists, we definitely need this character alive to do stuff on the campaign map, but I'm certainly happy to get them into melee as well. Okay, so I think my plan... I think we need Nakari to try and snipe their lord. If we don't do that, she will just keep shooting us with arrows, which is obviously bad. We can have our cavalry go after their archers.
Yes.
Probably want to go in with just Nakari first. Yeah, Nakari also doesn't have much armor. Because we're fighting high elves, he gets this big melee attack bonus, so he's got absurd melee attack. And yeah, speed 100, even without any of the extra speed he can get from his skill tree. It's really good. Now, I'm assuming that the archers will shoot Nakari in this situation. They often don't shoot your single entities in Warhammer 3, but he is a greater demon. And also, we don't really have great other targets. So I'm assuming the AI will be happy to use archers on us. If we can actually find them. Alright. Oh, they could be back this way. Oh, hold on. They found us.
Warships your none.
I see, I see.
Arch tempter.
Yeah, let's just pull them back. Presumably the rest of the troops are around here. Yeah.
Cultist of Slaanesh.
Didn't see their, oh, they're the river units. Okay. Yeah, I think I do want to go for their lord. I'd love to get her out of the forest, although that's going to be a little tricky.
Fine.
Let's also see... No, go for her.
Glorious.
Let's also see if I can just knock down some of their infantry with this spell. Yeah, Nakari took a chunk of damage there, I think, from the lord. Yeah, focus on her. I mean, it's inevitable we're going to take a bit of damage on Nakari here. Should be able to kill their lord pretty quickly, though. Unfortunately, they've lobbed up, which is good from the point of view of hitting them with magic, but it's bad from the point of view of having Nakari focus his attacks properly on... Yeah, on their lord.
Do not touch the Kari.
I don't really want to charge the cav right into the spearmen. That's this lady's job. Or... I don't know. Let's go with lady and hope. Cultist. Alright, here we go. We've got their lord kind of out of the clump. That's good. Get this in. Yeah, it's doing a lot of damage. It's not killing a lot of entities, but that's what we want. Yeah, we've got their lord separated off, which is good. Let's have the cav run around here. Didn't quite mean to position like that. Yeah, you just get stuck into the archers, and if the spearmen attack you, I think that's fine. Alright, how's Nakari doing over here? He's not doing... Well, I guess he's winning this fight, but not as quickly as I might have wanted. Yeah, you get on top of the archers. Get this magic down. I'm gonna hit these spearmen. Alright, let's pull out the cav. Our cultist is going to have no problem at all dealing with the archers. Yeah, we've got more magic here. Nakari kind of dances around a lot in melee, which probably means it's not going to take too many hits from the spearmen. Although... knocking the lord... Well, knocking the lord away is good, except we actually do need to hurt her. Let's not... Alright, let's knock... Oh, no, okay, these spearmen are coming this way. That's great. We also have those archers routing. Alright, you start working on these spearmen over here. Yes, we can start getting this charged up. Although, looks like the archers may just run off the battlefield.
Your desires are mine.
Come on, Nakari. Get the job done over there. Alright, cav is getting bogged down by spearmen, which is not great. I mean, obviously this unit dies after the battlefield, kind of regardless, after the battle, but for... I think it still counts. I think the losses here still count towards balance of power in terms of the quality of the victory. Oh, the unit just straight routed. That's not great. Okay, you need to finish this lady off quickly, because I'm... Yeah, hopefully they rally. I think this is still going fine. We may not end up with better than a close victory, which is what the Order Resolve is offering. Good. The enemy lord's dead. Alright, get over here. That's a lot of their balance of power. There's a lot of low health spearmen who we can kill here. Yeah, that was 20 plus with one cast. Okay, and that's the army losses. Cool. Yeah, it would have been nice not to take so much damage on Nakari. Maybe there was some way to do that. But nevertheless, we got through this. This army's going to get wiped out, as with basically all of the turn 1 battles that you get set up for you in Immortal Empires. Yeah, we're just running these extra units down for a bit more kill credit. That was not the right unit to target. There was only 6 of them left. Yeah, I think probably a close victory, sure. Alright, so now we have the more formidable task of taking on the Trace settlements. They've got a minor one and a major one. What we don't want to do is let them build up more troops. So, even if we can't take their settlements, which I don't think I'm going to try and do this turn. I'd rather just go into encamp stance, get a heal on the carry. We can recruit a second lord and have them come over on turn 2. Yeah, but what we can do is besiege the settlements to block their recruitment. So let's see, we've got a Shield of Tolos. Okay, that's nice. I think that missile resistance is going to come in handy. Just give that to, yep, give that to the carry. Now, this option is unfortunately pretty relevant because it doesn't replenish lords and heroes, which is all we're going to have. We can get extra devotees or extra favor. We're going to take the devotees because we're going to be using them a lot for building cult buildings and stuff. Alright, so that was not their faction leader. The faction leader is this one here. So yeah, she just gets killed outright. And Shield of Tolos. So if we'd gotten a decisive victory there, we would have gotten to rank 3, but that's okay. Now, for leveling up Nakari, we don't really need the red line. It would be cool to get Glamour of Slaanesh and eventually Allure of Slaanesh, but we really don't get benefit from this stuff because we don't have regular units in the army. Blue line, I think, similarly, not that exciting. We could get extra casualties, which would mean more devotees. We could eventually get upkeep discount once we have enough heroes to make that worthwhile, but yeah, again, the blue line just not that exciting, I think. So let's put some points into magic. I really like Lash of Slaanesh. It's short range, but it's for a low tier spell, having 100% armor piercing is really nice. And yeah, just a solid spell against clumped up infantry. Now, our cultist. Not quite sure how much damage or how much they're going to be in the army versus off making cults, but let's go increase mobility to start with. Right, so yeah, we have enough movement to get to either of these settlements, but we can't occupy them. So if we attack either of them, even if we do great in the battle and somehow take basically no damage, we're not going to be replenishing. And this guy is not recruiting.
Unwise.
He can start recruiting on his first turn, but he's not recruiting right now. So, like I was saying, I think I would rather go into encamp stance. We can just stand about here. He does have these units. This is not going to be enough, I think, to come attack us. Well, we'll see. I doubt he'd make that attack. I think the AI kind of knows about the Seduced units ability, if that makes sense. Like, I feel like it must weigh that in at some level when deciding to make an attack. But, yeah, I mean, if he did come attack here, it would be him and 2 units against one of these 3, whatever we seduce, plus this. And even with Nakari being low in health, I'm pretty sure we just win that. Yeah, we better just win that, otherwise the campaign's going to be pretty short. Yeah, so as I was saying, from next turn we'll start besieging whichever settlement he is trying to recruit out of, to at least stop him recruiting. And we'll basically build up extra lords, bring them over, and we'll be strong enough then to beat the garrisons. So, along these lines, we have a choice of only 2 lords, and I will get some Chaos Lords eventually, just because they have a couple of extra abilities that, like, they have the Rally and Stand Your Ground abilities, which I don't get access to otherwise, so having 1 Chaos Lord along with the rest of my lords and whoever's doing the main fighting would be nice for that extra ability, but otherwise they're just not very exciting. They don't get a Chaos Dragon mount like the Undivided Chaos Lord. They don't get magic. Yeah, just not really worth it, I think. I'd rather pay more money and get a Herald. And these ones can eventually become... they get the promotion to the Greater Demon status, which is good, of course. So what do we want here? This is Law of Shadows, so Siren or Depraver. Then we've got Confident and Strategist. So if we were having more, if we were actually going to be recruiting more units and cared more about, units possibly disintegrating or routing, then confident would be great. But I don't think that's an issue. I don't have too much of a preference between the laws. I think Lower Shadows is fine. I'm actually just going to go for the Slaanesh corruption. That helps a lot. It has interactions with various other things like the forced vassalization. I think spreading Slaanesh corruption in the area helps with that. Plus, yeah, I mean, it also slowly builds towards better and holy manifestations, right? Just a lot of stuff we want more Slaanesh corruption.
The new avatar.
Okay, so they can't move this turn. Let's just have them sit there.
Of Slaanesh.
Do I want them in the settlement actually? So we're never going to get much economy out of the Shrine of Kurnos. That's not what it's there for. What we can do eventually is get this building and this building, which would let us recruit a couple of Chaos Sorcerers and a couple of Aluruses. We're mainly going to be using the Cultists because they can basically make more of themselves without having to go through a settlement. But we will have access to the other heroes through these buildings. But then after that, yeah, there's not too much going to be going on here. We can, yeah, spread a bit of corruption, just basic economy stuff. But do I actually care about getting a revolt? Maybe I actually prefer to get a revolt. You know what? Let's just... I can definitely see this being a campaign where we want to tank the public order at some point. We're trying to just fight more battles before we're ready to take on other factions. We have this pleasurable act that costs or decreases control by 50, which is kind of interesting. The actual effect is going to do basically nothing. Like income from more buildings, yeah, just very little. But the fact that we can basically decrease 50 control whenever we want, at the cost of devotees, is pretty interesting for forcing revolts.
Prince's Herald.
Okay, and yeah, he can't get over to the settlement, that's not a problem. So, let's do some other stuff. Too bad we can't recruit multiple lords, but just one a turn is the limit. We don't need this building. Let's just go for growth. We can't get... Yeah, we need to get this to tier 3 as fast as possible, basically. We could go for a pleasurable act right now and get plus 250 growth. That is honestly pretty tempting. It does increase control as well, which I don't maybe want, but... Oh, it also costs 2,000 money. Okay. So let's think about this. If I pay for that, we have 1014. Is that enough to seduce?
Futile.
I'm not sure that's actually enough to seduce archers or spearmen. I think that might... Maybe that depends on the corruption too. It says... Okay, seduce units budget. That's not the cost per unit though. Okay. Let's hold off on this for now. Would be great to get this to grow, but obviously immediate concern is not just like actually losing the Kari, because that's going to be harder to come back from. We are making lots of gold. We just disbanded our army, so not a surprise. Right. Okay, so yeah, demolish that, get the growth building going. Research. Okay, so we have some options here. We're actually not going to be able to get some of the stuff here just because it requires higher TI buildings than we can actually get from the Shrine of Kurnos, but I'm not too concerned about that. So a lot of this stuff is not that helpful. Proliferate cults cost, sure, I mean that's going to be something we'll want to use, but this other stuff just not very exciting. Seduce units cost minus 10%, again eventually we want that. Upkeep discounts, sure, that'll help make our heroes cheaper. Don't care about the Coronate faction. So I think I'm going to start with this, the cooldown on our spells basically. Diplomatic relations up with other factions, Slaanesh corruption up all provinces. Yeah, we can work towards this, but having the spell cooldown would be nice. In a lot of these early battles we're just going to be spamming that lash spell. So cooldown is good.
It is as intricate.
Right, and last thing, let's just look at diplomacy. So we are going to be extremely weak because I was going to say on paper, but it's not even on paper. It's just literally we've got three. Our army is 3 people. Yes, one is a greater demon, but still. So people are liable to declare war on us if we look weak. However, we actually don't have bad relations either with the Dark Elves or the High Elves on Ulthuan. So the question is, who do we want to make friends with here? We also are in contact with the Greenskins down there too.
Let's hear it.
I'll talk about Safri in a second. Yeah, I guess we can't do anything immediately with this.
Defender of the Phoenix Throne.
I could offer...
Loyal servant.
Hold on, let's come out of that.
Lord.
Yes.
So Marathi likes us, we actually already have a non-aggression pact. These ones are fighting Altharian. Yeah, I think what I'm going to actually try, and this may fail, but I'm going to try it anyway. I'm going to try and be friends with Avalon, like the major High Elf factions, but Avalon in particular. So Avalon is going to come up and fight, and presumably slowly beat, or maybe not so slowly, beat the Scourge of Cain. And Safri is probably going to end up at war with Avalon, but also lose. So Avalon's going to kind of win this fight. And yeah, we want to basically vassalize the Everqueen. And I think we want to do that possibly without fighting her. So I mean, I could, if I decided I was just going to go to war with Avalon inevitably, I could try and get a little money from doing it right now, for instance, but I don't want to do that. And I think the same with Tyrion. If we could get in touch with Tyrion and join his war against the other Dark Elf faction, I forget the name, but the other minor Dark Elf faction, that would be good.
Flotilla of the damned.
I'm not really interested in the Dread Fleet. Wonder why we have diplomatic contact with them. It's a bit weird. Okay, so last thing then is the cult down in Safri that we start with. So they're already halfway seduced. And if we look at the cult, we're getting +3 seductive influence per turn and an extra +3 if the income is 300 or more, which it is. It's 436. So even though, yeah, Slaanesh corruption here is going to drop off, but we are slowly winning this. Right, so this will update next turn. It'll say number of settlements -3, racial resistance maybe -5. I can't remember. But yeah, we get 6 points from this building. The thing is, this is not really the building we want. We want the building that gets us more cultists. And we want to be able to put down cults over here too, and building that building is going to cost devotees. But this is, to me, just... I guess it also gives the boost to diplomatic relations, but this one of the building options is not that exciting. So I'm going to demolish it for 150 devotees and then build the cult building, and we'll get another cultist here who can then go and set up another cult and so on. This isn't going to destroy the whole cult, it's just going to open up the build slot. Yeah, so I think that's all we're doing. We've obviously started to build up a tiny bit of seductive influence against Trace. I'm imagining we're just going to raise one of their settlements and subjugate them via the other, rather than going via the diplomacy. So, you know, save the diplomacy option for other factions, basically. But we'll see how we go. Yeah, don't think there's anything else happening here. Let's go to the next turn. Alright, also going to just speed this up. There we go. We're going to have to see what happens with the other High Elf faction that's just further to our east. Which one are they? Kothik? Because I don't think they start at war with anybody. Ah, interesting. Alright. Well, this is kind of good in that it gives us the opportunity to kill some of these units. I guess maybe taking damage on the carry kind of worked out because it encouraged them to make this attack. So, like I was saying, with Seduction, it's 3 units against 3. Their lord here... Yeah, he doesn't have great armor piercing, but he does have much stronger melee stats than the lady in the other army. I think, though, I'm just going to steal their cav again. I can hit and run against their infantry, because this guy doesn't have a bow, and he's only got speed 40. Yeah, let's steal the cav. Yeah, and it's, I think I was just about correct about not wanting to spend that extra money. So interestingly, that actually gives us a close victory off of auto-resolve, but we'll fight this manually. Now this is their faction leader. So, what we want to do is give him the Mark of Slaanesh. And we can do that by beating him. But because he's their faction leader, it doesn't matter. He's immortal, right? So it doesn't matter if we kill him or he gets away. We should try and kill him though, right? Yeah, there's no need to let any of this stuff survive. Yeah, we should just try and wipe them out completely. The auto-resolve would do that. Let's see if we can do it fighting manually, though. I think with the speed advantage we ought to be able to. That's one thing about starting the campaign in Ulthuan is all the trees. Although I mainly don't like trees because it messes up missile fire, which we're not going to have except via seducing stuff, right? So maybe I shouldn't complain. Alright, and they have to come for us. Yeah, their lord is by far the most dangerous. Even if we kill all of their other soldiers, he's not going to get army lost. So, let's see. We've got this, which is definitely going to help. I think what we want to do is let them come forward, let our magic charge up, and then pick off the archers, and then the spearmen. Yeah, just be a little patient. Okay, we're also not too much faster. Yeah, the cultist isn't actually too much faster than the their lord, for instance. So let's just hide in the forest over there. Okay.
To shun the Kari is to insult Slaanesh, and for that you will pay.
Get them!
Arch-tempter!
Yeah, so they made the attack, of course. They have to come towards us. They're just presumably in the forest. It makes sense. I mean, we've got Makari does get some penalties in the forest. Yeah, that's not a minus 80%. It's basically like minus 20%. But still, it's a debuff. Oh, hello. Hello, spearman. Yeah, so I think this is good. Let's pull them apart. The lord is coming towards us. Let's lead him on a little merry jaunt, because we can just then run back. Interesting the archers aren't trying to shoot. There they go. Yeah, let's send Makari after the archers. So he should be able to... Yeah, we did get shot a tiny bit there. Let's chase them over this direction. They're not actually running away. Interesting. But still, we've got a few seconds here of killing a bunch of them before the Lord gets there. We do not want to take hits from the Lord, though. He does hit pretty hard. Alright, let's have you guys come around. So yeah, I think we just have to be a little careful. Kind of ignore the spearmen until they're close to us. Yeah, did get shot a bit there. I think we can actually I can actually have Nakari just like walk through the unit and he'll hit them on the way through. though that didn't do a ton of damage. Let's bring the cultist over as well. Does look like it's going to be a little tricky to get the Lord away from the archers. Oh, here we go, maybe.
This will do.
No.
I shall dance.
Yeah, I think the AI kind of realizes it wants it should protect the missile troops. So is this actually getting kills if he walks through the unit like this? No. No, we've got the spearmen coming in here. Alright, did a bit more damage. I think I'm fine for our cultists to fight the spearmen.
Your desires are mine.
It'd also be great if we could get... Now let's continue just hitting the archers. Oops.
No one faster.
The serpent strikes!
Agreed.
If their lord goes after our cultist, we'll have to micro them out of the way, but that would mean that Nakari would be free to go after the archers. Yeah, so I think the situation's fine. We've got more magic left.
Without question.
Unleash my power.
Yeah, I think we should be able to rout the archers here.
Move.
The spearmen are not going to get over quite in time. The spearmen are actually also just getting beaten up by the cultists there. Yeah, archers are wavering, archers are broken. Now we've got them because,
Charge.
yeah, Cav can win them down. Let's give Nakari a little rest. Alright, this is almost half charge. This ability is pretty powerful against low tier infantry like the spearmen. Taking damage on our cultist.
For duty.
Alright, I guess we can
Death to all!
loop around like that.
Power of Slaanesh.
Loyal.
Yeah, stay away from the Lord.
Attack.
So we're going to get this fully charged. I think... No, we're not. That's too bad. Okay, but the archers are shattered. And we killed enough of them that they are gone for good. So I think next we're going to try and deal with these spearmen. So I think... Alright, wait. Let's get one more cast of this down. And then we charge in off the back of that. And we should be able to break them, I think, before the Lord gets there. Yeah, victory's on a grasp. If I do get this ability, I'm just going to pop it right down onto the spearman. It just doesn't do much to the Lord. Okay, so this went exactly as planned. As expected, the Lord is taking a bit of a leadership hit from troops. You know, their other units basically being routed and killed, but not too much. So let's fight out of the forest. No need to give our large units the debuff. We killed enough of the spearmen that unit's going to be wiped out. Right. Yeah, so the cultists, I think, can continue outrunning the Lord. Should be able to. And we can have Nakari and the Cav run up out of the way and then just basically recover vigor. Definitely going to be easier to beat the Lord if Nakari is fresh and they are very tired or exhausted. Yeah, they get the, what's it called? Martial prowess buff here, which makes them very tanky. However, we've got multiple casts of this. Yeah, we're actually going to have 3 or more casts of this. And I think that, yeah, I mean, we're going to be able to beat this guy. It's just a question of how much damage we take. Okay, looks like he's slowed down, but I don't think he's going to recover vigor unless he actually stops. Nakari is fresh. Alright, we can speed this up. Don't think I need to send in the cultist again here. Let's try and tank damage on the Illyrian Reavers if possible. going to be easier said than done, because he's going to want to target Nakari once Nakari does come into melee. Yeah, we're not... The Illyrian Reavers really don't have sufficient melee attack to get through this guy's defenses.
Battle call.
Unfortunately... Okay, yeah, Nakari got a big chunk of damage in there. I'm not sure if you can really get the devastating flanker bonus against a single entity. We can try. Okay, he's sort of facing this direction, so if we charge him from the back, we might get it. Let's see here. Okay, well, we hit him at least. Yeah, this is great.
Excess in all things.
You can just hang out there. We'll get this down again, then send Nakari in again. Let's just try and break him.
Yes, master.
Yeah. Perfect. Yeah, the melee attack debuff did its job. Very nice. So we'll see what Trace does after this. I think they'll recruit a new lord. And in one of their two settlements and start recruiting. And whichever settlement that is the settlement we should besiege over the next end turn. Because that will cancel the recruitment. I'm expecting they'll then sally out, but we can just fall back at that point. Okay, we're not getting much reward here. That's fine. Let's go for the devotees again. Obviously, we are spending gold, seducing units, but we're also making a decent amount here. Right. So they did recruit a new lord in the major settlement. That makes sense. Now, this guy, because he's immortal, has picked up the Gift of Slaanesh. So I don't think there's an in-game way of viewing quite what this does, because you can't view traits on enemy characters, but... Oh, it may also be the case that until he's back commanding an army on the campaign map, it also doesn't apply. But it definitely applies... Yeah, it definitely applies passively to this, Gift of Slaanesh. So it gives us a boost to this each turn, but it also increases Slaanesh corruption. I thought it was a +5 on that, so I'm looking at this and thinking that +3 is probably just off of our guys. But next time he comes back to command an army,
No.
yeah, we'll get Slaanesh corruption up. And that may be as our vassal. Right. So we want to cancel this recruitment for sure.
The Tempter Lord.
So we have to besiege with Nakari, because we don't have enough movement on this lord. We did get a little bit of replenishment. Would be nice to get more, but... Yeah, as I say, we kind of have to besiege here.
From my master.
Now, I guess I have a choice with my cultist. Yeah, okay, so I have 500 devotees. Let's see how much it takes to build a cult building over here. 250. Right. So this is the big one. This is what makes this campaign kind of doable, maybe. Is the fact that wherever we have a cult, we can build this building. That gives us an extra cultist and an extra hero capacity for a cultist, and then that cultist can then make another cult, and it propagates, right? And you don't use up the cultist making the cult, you just get more cultists. And we also get +3 seductive influence per turn. I mean, I think this building is kind of... I mean, obviously the other ones do stuff that could be beneficial in some situations, like, sure, it could be cool to get a disciple army in places, but I think this is just far and away the best of these. So we'll get a cultist spawned at the White Tower next turn, and I'm gonna do...
Just a sample.
Yeah, so how exactly do I want to do this here? I think I want to have the cultists come and make a cult in Tor a chair. I don't want to make a cult here, because I think my plan is to raise this, then we'll subjugate them off of this. It doesn't make too much sense to raise their major settlement. That's just going to... Like, once they're a vassal, obviously we want them to be able to get stronger, so having them have to rebuild the major settlement from scratch kind of seems silly. So, yeah, you leave the army.
Go with grace.
And establish the cult here. So establishing the cult just costs gold.
Plentiful excess.
Um,
Gifts from my master.
then we go in here. And we get a number of these. So that's all of our devotees gone, but that's fine. We're not paying any passive cost in these because we don't have like a disciple army or anything else.
My divine
And you got rank
master.
3. I think we're just going to work on corruption here. We don't really need... Yeah, we can pick up these skills later, of course. Putting points here just gives a discount to the action cost. So that's the action cost in money. So we're obviously going to be limited by devotees here, right? So I don't think this is too exciting. Let's just go for the corruption here. And yeah, Makari has to come re-besiege. Or besiege. Alright, we're not going to make this attack. But looking at this, we would get to seduce 2 units. I'm pretty sure we can win this battle against the settlement once I have a couple of other lords to help. But for now, we're just going to continue the siege. They'll sally out, we'll withdraw. Their lord will then not be able to 1v1 Nakari, obviously. So yeah, we're essentially just cancelling their recruitment at the price of not replenishing or not using another stance.
Souls will yield
Right, so
for
meanwhile, let's have this herald come down here. So what should she do? I'm not sure if you can actually make devotees from raiding just off a single lord. We're also too far away to be able to do it this turn anyway.
I am unleashed.
So let's move like this. Next turn, I think we might go for Alesia.
The Asur are ageless.
Yeah. I think next time we'll go for Alesia and aim to... Well, we could either sack it if I really want extra devotees, or I could just raise it. Yeah, I think that looks good. So what's going to happen at the end turn? Nakari's going to retreat. Probably won't be within...
Herald of Slaanesh.
Okay, yeah, so here's a consideration. So Nakari will probably retreat up in this direction, up to about here. Are we then concerned about
Impossible.
this princess coming and fighting our lord here? I think the answer is no. I think we 1v1
Slaanesh.
because they went for the missile, the princess. I think we 1v1 them with the herald. Oh yeah, definitely we do, because we went for the Lure of Shadows and we get the melee attack and defense debuff. So yeah, that would be no problem at all. I was considering force marching to try and position so that like when Nakari retreats would be in the reinforcing range, but I'm now not concerned about that. What I do need to do though is get another lord out. Just going to go for Herald again. So I've got Siren or Tough, and then presumably, yeah, the same choices here. I'm going to go for Tough. Little bit of armor, not a big deal. 5 melee defense is quite nice though. Yeah, we're not going to be getting disciple armies anytime soon, and honestly, plus 8% on that's not an enormous benefit.
I will dominate.
Should actually just have you in force march stance. I should have maybe done that last turn too, because we do want our lords to work towards the trait you get from ending turn in force march.
In rapture.
Okay, we don't need equipment. Let's look at buildings here. So, yeah, we can't do any preparatory building work before getting to tier 3 there. What we can do is upgrade this building. Yeah, let's do that. And I think we probably just want some money here. Yeah, let's just get some money going. Alright, well we can get a little
Let's
extra
hear it.
cash from
What?
a non-aggression pact with those
Can I
greenskins,
offer
but
assistance?
I'm not going to do that because I'm going to try and be friends with the major high elf factions, and that involves not making deals with their enemies. So I'm actually going to probably look at fighting the Scourge of Cain, but we'll get to that once we're finished with Trace. Okay, look at this positioning. It looks good. Yeah, so we've got 2 cultists coming next turn. Obviously we spent all our devotees, but that's okay. We'll be getting more. The situation would be scarier if we were against a faction that could produce units. Yeah, so we're not going to fight this. If we were against a faction that could produce units without recruiting. Right, so if Lorelei here could recruit, you know, if they had access to Raised Dead or something like this, then we'd have to watch the positioning far more carefully.
Very salacious.
Okay, so we are getting stronger here for sure. We've got 2 cultists, we've got 3 lords. I think we can do what I said and go after Alicia, even though Nakari is not full health. We also have our cultists down this way. We should have enough to seduce 2 units out of the, or as many units as we can out of the defenses here. And Lorelei is not recruiting. Yeah, that seems like a mistake. Okay, I mean, I guess they're spending money on upgrading the building here in Alicia, we can see, but like, nah, I don't think, because now we don't even have to besiege this over the end turn, right?
Never.
So yeah, AI definitely sort of messed up there. Alright, well, that's... Oh no, we've got time. I was going to say... That's going to do it for this part, but no, let's go ahead and... I think I'll sack Alicia this turn. We need more devotees, and we need more gold, and we have 1 more lord to come. We're going to go basically work with a quartet of lords, because that's how many you can get into battle at once. Another tough lord there. So yeah, you're going to have to force march to Alicia. Let's have our cultists...
It will be a pleasure.
Yeah, let's think about who to do this with. I think...
Why, yes, little mortal.
Alright, I think I want Nakari...
Sensations without
I think here's what I'll do.
Grace.
I'll have Nakari make the attack.
Cruelty.
Not on his own. Oh. I screwed up the order on this, didn't I? Why did I recruit that lord? Yeah, that was just silly. I should have,
Painted.
what I should have done is seduce 2 of the garrison units, and then use the money we get from winning the battle and sacking the settlement to recruit this lord at the end of the turn. I just totally blanked on that. We'll still be okay, I think. Now you move over here and support, and you go into...
Seeking sweetest agony.
Yeah, you go into encamp stance for the buff to leadership and melee defense, and then we can join
pleasure for
both our cultists, who then get the benefit of that melee defense buff as well.
my divine master. The cult
Right.
yearns
And
us
then this one
move.
force marches in to support 2.
Divine immortality.
Yeah.
Divine immortality.
So setting this up was fine. It was just the fact that I did this unnecessarily, spent the gold that I would have rather spent on seducing. It's fine though. We'll make it work. Yep, so we've got our units coming in. Game doesn't like our chances. I don't really care. Let's just seduce their strongest unit. That's going to be these Lothan Seaguard. Oh, we don't have enough gold for that. Whoops. Alright, we'll seduce this one then. So yeah, they do have missile units here. They don't have any cavalry we could steal, which would be useful against the missile units. They have a better front line of spears, but we have we have more entities, and yeah, I mean, all their units are just going to struggle against our lords and heroes, basically. So I don't care what the odds are. Yeah, battle result, crush and defeat. No, I don't think it'll be as bad as that. It really makes a big difference when the AI has access to a lord. Like, obviously, yes, the archers can do damage to us if we don't get into melee with them and shoot them. But because we have the maneuverability advantage, it just really isn't too difficult in practice to deal with stuff like this. I think we have the option of as well of wasting the ammo, of their missile troops, which I guess we can look at possibly doing that. All right, so we do start with not a great deal going on here. I think I will have Nakari stand over here. I doubt they're going to advance towards us. If they do, we can just kite them around. Yeah, I think they're just repositioning a little.
My sisters will see you damned.
I don't know why Nakari. Yeah, I don't know why Nakari has this little chat going at the start of each battle. It's funny. Yeah, tons of magic for this. When we want to do a bit of extra damage, we can also just overcast it now as well. Alright, here come our reinforcements. Good. Let's get everyone into position. Let's have you off skirmish mode. So I think we want a situation here where the Sea Guard are basically able to use their ammo before having to fight. And we probably have enough single entities to sort of screen them. So I think the safest thing to do would be to try and waste all of the ammo of their archers by just dodging back and forth from Nakari. I'm not going to do that. I'm willing to accept taking damage on a bit more damage on other characters, I think. I'm not above using that strategy if it's kind of a desperate situation, but I don't think this is a desperate situation.
Advance!
What we do want to do, obviously, though, is close the distance as fast as possible. So you have Sea Guard here, archers, archers, spearmen, spearmen. They've got one of the unit of spearmen that's here, I believe. Right, so it looks like we should try and make a push here and break through, or at least get their archers in melee. Yeah, so let's go ahead and get positioned to do that. Now, magic-wise, obviously we have Nakari's magic. This is going to be our main damage. We also do have other bits and pieces here. Let's have this cultist hold back, and let's make a push straight forward towards these archers with my single entities. And let's have you come shoot them as well. I'm assuming... Ah, the other spearmen are actually on this side. Interesting. I'm assuming the archer's going to target Nakari. Yeah. So we can kind of snake around and dodge some of the fire. And then get on top of them. Our other units here are really fast as well. It's one of the really the cool things about Slaanesh is that aspect. Alright, we've got those Northern Sea Guard. No, I don't think they're going to be too big of a problem for us. Well, why don't you shoot the Northern Sea Guard? It's too bad we couldn't seduce them, because they are the ones with shields. Alright. Yeah.
Attack!
Swiftly!
Come then.
Fine with us. Sea Guard getting shot there. We do want to focus on these archers though, please. Let's go for an overcast here and just try and do as much damage as possible. Yeah, we did take a bit of damage on that cast. It's so useful to break units, yeah, because now we get this charging up. And that is definitely effective against their
Northern Sea Guard!
spearmen and stuff. Alright, kill those archers. Okay, Okay, they've got archers plus another unit of Sea Guard here. Let's keep just moving these ones. Let Nakari do the chasing. You guys can all fight very well against the spearmen.
Northern Sea Guard.
Yeah, I think I can have Nakari loop round and go for these ones.
March.
How are you doing? Yeah, they need to shatter. And you also need to, yeah, let's get this charged as well. Really not too concerned about these ones being stuck in melee. Obviously we are going to take a bit of extra damage on our injured cultists, but should be fine. What they're not going to do is shoot into melee against our small single entities. Alright, that unit shattered. Yeah, that's good enough. Yeah, so I think this is going fine. We can cast... We got... oh, I should have dodged that a bit better. We got a big... we got a fascination off to do a lot of damage to the units here. You can see they're getting pretty weak. Nakari's getting low on health, but is also just honestly not going to take that much damage getting through this other stuff. These were the Sea Guard, though. Right. Okay, we've got this charging up again. Let's just have someone else pin them down. The reason, yeah, the Sea Guard are just that bit more problematic because they do have the anti-large. So yeah, you fight the regular archers. Yeah, this is charged up. We just need to... just a question of the cooldown. Let's give a melee debuff to the Lothan Sea Guard, because they're the ones who are sort of here putting up a fight. Yeah, it didn't take too much damage on our melee combatants over here. Probably just shooting Akari a little. Yeah, and Akari getting a bit beaten up is the only thing that wasn't ideal about this. Really nice when you can get the regeneration ability. Okay, so all their stuff's dying because this is a settlement battle. So yeah, no need to run them down. We don't get any benefit here. Yeah, we don't have healing or anything, so good. But Trace are now screwed because they can't actually recruit any units. They're never going to have more than... Well, they could get a lord in each settlement, but not more than that. And... we actually didn't kill that many of them. That's interesting that they got the army losses. Sorry, what was I saying? Yeah, they're basically never going to get an army in the field that can actually come out and fight us. So it might take us a while for us to kill them, but probably not even. I think once we get our 4th lord over, we can take on their major settlement as well. Okay, obsidian amulets. More experience and stuff. Yeah, so let's go ahead and sack this. You pick up a Chaos Steed. Income for sacking settlements, that's good. We can't raise this on the same turn, right? Don't think we can, but I can check. Who do I want to...
Most privileged of Slaanesh.
Yeah, I'm almost certain you cannot raise on the same turn, and I don't really want to use more of my movement on any of my characters here.
Herald of the Dark Prince.
Okay, so level up on you. You also picked up the Chaos Steed, which we do not need right now. Does that actually cost me extra upkeep though?
This place is barren of pleasures.
No. Alright. Keep it. And yeah, corruption for you. Right. So a little tricky when cultists run an army to keep track of who's formed the cult. So there's a cooldown of 15 turns on Elaine forming a cult because she did the cult in here.
No.
But this other cultist is free to go make a cult. They can't do it this turn because they did the join army as their action. But yeah, we need to keep track of that. Okay.
The Tempter Lord.
Right, now there's a whole bunch of really good stuff with Nakari at rank 10. And honestly, I don't need this other stuff too badly. So I think what I will do, I'm going to put 1 point into Blissful Rapture, because we do get the benefit of that passively whenever he's using the Lash of Slaanesh. And then I think all my other points up to rank 10, I'm going to save and basically max out this stuff. All the good points here. There's like there's at least 4 or 5 of this line that are great. And we can, if we save at the points, we can, yeah, we can just get them all once he gets to rank 10. Okay, so yeah, this positioning is fine. This lord's probably going to stay there and start recruiting. We'll fight another battle at Alesia and then raise it. That will use all of one of my lord's movements, and then I think the turn after, so turn 5, we'll come and attack this, and we can sack it and subjugate them. Yeah, that's the plan.
Name it.
Now, down this
and
way,
it shall be done.
we can make another cult, which we should do. But where to make it? I don't think it matters too much. We don't have the devotees yet to build the building. We could establish the cult. We could establish the cult in one of Alariel's settlements. No, let's just go for... I don't think it's going to matter too much. It is going to be a while before we get enough devotees, though. Because... yeah, I guess what I could do... I could keep Trace alive and sack their settlements to build up devotees that way. I don't think we get many devotees, though, when we're just sacking a settlement that has a damaged garrison. Okay, why don't you come down this way, establish the cult here.
The cult grows. The devoted flay themselves.
I mean, we basically want cults in every settlement, that we're, apart from the one that we own. That's going to be my plan.
Cultist.
Let's get more corruption down. And we also have encountered, presumably,
The Black Court is a dangerous
these ones.
place.
Yeah. So I think what I'd like to do is get diplomacy improving with the High Elves by declaring war on their minor enemies, but we don't have contact with Tyrion yet, so we can't do that. Yeah, I'm not interested in
Your request?
agreements with
Morathi.
those greenskins. I would go for a trade agreement with Morathi, but we're not quite there yet. Okay, looks good. So that turn should have been a bit easier. We should have had the option of seducing a second unit. It worked out just fine, though.
Divine.
And like I was saying, Trace is just screwed at this point because this lord...
The perfect.
yeah, this lord can't take any of us on and is not going to be able to recruit units. Okay, I think I maybe missed upgrading the gold building here, but yeah, I guess I should have done that. I don't think it's a big deal. Yeah. Okay, well, that's going to do it for the first part of the series. I think this could be an interesting campaign. It's definitely going to get difficult once we're fighting people who, you know, actually have armies and stuff. But, yeah, we'll see quite how many cults we can get. Anyway, thanks a lot for watching, and see you for part number 2.